U.S. families with incarcerated loved ones incur nearly $350 billion in costs per year, averaging $4,200 annually per loved one.
Dang.
That's specifically talking to our whole audience here.
I think that's also why we see a lot of prison wives hustling. I mean, you see a lot of them, family members, like having side jobs, 2 or 3 jobs and hustling because not only do they have to care for themselves, they also have to spend the money and financial obligations of, taking care of their family in a system that's meant to profit off the already downtrodden, group of people that are struggling. It's Florida Fred. That means it's time for your questions, comments, and boy, did y'all have a lot of comments and questions. And I put up the NGL link and holy cow, did y'all blow that up. So,
what is your Roman Empire as a prison wife? The thing you think about too often for no reason.
Have any of Michael's or Joe's friends asked either of you to introduce them or hook them up with someone?
They sure have. They sure have.
Yes.
Do you feel like there are any red flags, if any, that you would indicate a person is scamming rather than looking for a relationship? And if so, what are those red flags?
What is one thing you wish more people understood about being a prison wife? Like, we are hardworking, tax-paying, good people that happen to have a loved one that's not with us and that we still love and that our love is real.
This is for the prison wife. Still don't break, love don't fold. I'm still here, I'm still gold.
Let me fill you in on the conference. First of all, Paige, you have to go next year because the advocacy work and the groups that are there, it was so good to connect and network with them. You had prison. Now the name escapes me. It's the prison writing project. People from FAM, there was a girl from CDCR with Drop LWAP there. There's just a lot of people and groups that can come together in this conference. And it's just, let me say this, when you walk in, you already feel like you're home or it's like a safe place for you. Because you're with people that are of the same mindset, Mm-hmm. They even had a correctional officer, shout out to Michelle. She is in Mississippi and she was there and it just shows you also people that are working in the system that obviously also feel like we need to treat them with compassion and the importance of compassion and empathy and treating them like humans, not treating them like they're just things, in a system. So I would highly recommend anybody who is interested in getting into advocacy, learning more about how support and resources go. And going back to that, I feel safe. I feel at home. I felt that the first time I went back in 2018. And I was nervous for my speech, but feeling that level of comfort helped not be as nervous, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Oh, for those of y'all joining us, obviously I'm talking about the Connecting for Justice conference that I was at last week in Vegas. And I got to meet a Waller. She was there. Her name was Melissa, and she's in Nevada. And we got to do a couple things together. We got to hang out and just talk. It was really nice to just meet people from all walks of life. The one that really tied at my heartstrings there were 2 sets of parents who recently had a child that just got incarcerated. And they were just little lost, like little lost puppies trying to navigate this whole new life for them. They were very emotional. And one of the mothers asked me for my speech to read to her daughter. So you have families that are grappling with the idea of these people, may have never had any experience with the justice system. And here they are thrown into it, but they want to support their child. It was just so beautiful to see these people come together and support these families and be there and just express the feelings of stigma, shame, and all those things that you deal with when your loved one's incarcerated. So definitely an amazing conference. It's not a huge one, not a huge conference. So if you're like, ooh, I don't like big conferences or conventions, it's not like that.
Can you talk about your speech? That's what I want to hear about.
Oh, well, my speech, obviously I read it last week on the pod.
Like, how'd it go? Like, the reception?
I got amazing reception. People stopped me, hugged me. People told me, Sheila Bruno, who does Wife After Prison, stopped me and told me, what a beautiful speech it was, how she was moved. She even recently joined Love Within Walls. Everybody hugged me and told me how wonderful my speech was. And like I said, that one mom asked me for my speech to be able to read to her daughter, because she wasn't there. So overall, I think it went well. I was following Michelet, who gave a really powerful speech about her tragedies with her family and being in corrections. And I was like, how am I going to follow this? How am I going to follow this? But it went well. And I was a little nervous. I was a little shaky at first, but luckily I had my pause points in my speech and it helped. And all the feedback I got really did help. I think it made the speech more well-rounded. And I would do it again. I know I never thought I would say that, because I told people, well, in college, I used to pass out when I had to give presentations. But, I think it was well-received, and I got a lot of praise for it. And I can't thank Kayla and the board at Connecting for Justice enough for being given the opportunity to speak and to, tell my story, and also tell a little bit about you and the pod. And, a lot of people want to collaborate now, which is great. All that networking, and, people want to listen to the pod. People want to follow the pod. People want to be on the pod. So we have a lot of things in store just from the conference itself too.
Awesome.
So yeah. Well, welcome everybody. If you want to go follow Connecting for Justice on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all the places. If you're interested, hopefully there will be another one in Vegas in the fall next year. But welcome. It's episode 75 of Love Within Walls, Prisonwife Podcast. I'm your friendly host, Gigi here. And I'm here with the beautiful...
Your friendly host, Paige. Hello.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to dive in, and let me tell you, we got a lot on the tally today, because you guys basically took over this episode. I mean, you really did, and I'm here for it, and I love it, because I asked for a few questions, and we got like 25 questions and comments. Not to mention other speaky pipes, and y'all came through. Ooh, y'all came through. So, welcome. Before we get started, though, we got to give a shout out to our sponsor, Beyond Bars Imaging. Hey, guys, Paige is doing holiday photos. She did one for me and Michael yesterday. I put it on my Facebook, and I was very excited because first of all, she was like, let me do another one. I'm like, no, sold, because it encapsulated me and Michael to a T in that picture. But we had like cozy sweaters. We were on like a little rug. Like, you even put Christmas stockings on the one you did. It was so cute. So if you are wanting some holiday Christmas card photos, because the one that you showed me, I was like instant. I was like, Christmas card. Get at Paige. Follow her on Facebook or Instagram. You can also see some of her work on TikTok. But slide into her DMs and get those requests in at Beyond Bars Imaging. All right. We ready, Paige?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Here we go. Getting my sounds. Oh, hello. Wrong one. That's Florida Fred. My bad. All right, guys. It's time for What Up With That legislation. Paige, do you have anything?
I do. There was an article that came out by a company called forward.us, which is actually a super interesting article. I recommend everyone goes and reads it, even beyond me just summarizing it right here. The article is called "The Family Tax," quote unquote, of incarceration and the staggering financial impacts that it causes. The headline is a report by Forward.us found that the U.S. families with incarcerated loved ones incurred nearly $350 billion in cost per year, averaging $4,200 annually per loved one. So,
Dang.
yeah. So, I mean, that's specifically talking to our whole audience here. You know what I mean? The wives, the family members, the moms, the grandparents that are the ones paying that bill. That's, loss of our income. We have to travel for visits. We have to pay for calls. We have to pay for food inside commissary, extra childcare. Like all of these things are things that people don't really, they just think, you pay for calls. That's kind of where I think a lot of them stop, and they don't think about the other things that we all pay for. And it's really important to reframe the way that you think about that when it comes to incarceration, in my opinion, because it's not just about the people on the inside who are dealing with it. It's everyone on the outside too, and the ripple effect of that inside the home. It's just like this article literally just proved and said that there's an additional family tax that comes with when you have an incarcerated person that's almost nearly $5,000. And $5,000 in any family per year, that's a huge toll to add on to your annual bills or anything, you know what I mean? So, my question is, I know some of the families that listen to us, I know some people have to keep like really strong tabs on the money that they spend because it is that tight for them. Like, what is the cost that your family pays per year? If like, I'm just curious. Like, I want to put a number on that for not only, the people that listen to this, but, maybe we can go and share it. And like, this is a real thing, this family tax. And, of course, I'm not against people serving time when they are sentenced to serving time, but these are things that are often almost always overlooked.
Yes, and it's financially breaking the financial backs of families. And I was just thinking about that number, that 5,000. I know people that pay way more than that. So that's just an average. Some people might pay less, some people might pay more, but that's just an average. There are people that pay more than that, unfortunately, because calls cost more, connections cost, having visitation. I know Paige spends a lot of money in planning and resources of her financial resources just to be able to go see Joe, whereas some people don't have to travel as far, but still at the end, if you have a loved one that's serving 30, 40, 50-year sentence or a lifetime sentence, that's $5,000 to $6,000 a year for the rest of your life.
I think about the people that have multiple loved ones incarcerated, or these families that grow up in these situations with the inevitable incarceration. Like, there's mothers that have multiple children incarcerated and even their husbands and stuff. And it's like, how do you pay for that? Or how do you live life? I
think that's also why we see a lot of prison wives hustling. You see a lot of them, family members, like having side jobs, 2 or 3 jobs, and hustling because not only do they have to care for themselves, they also have to spend the money and financial obligations of, taking care of their family, and in a system that's meant to profit off the already downtrodden, group of people that are struggling, So, yeah. All right. I have something out of Oklahoma. Paige, and this is something that could help our loved ones, especially. I would never believe when I saw this article. This was put out by FAM yesterday. I shared it on my Facebook page, but if you need it, I have it. Hey, Oklahoma may soon join the ranks of states implementing a second look policy that allows life without parole sentences to be reevaluated based on the evidence of rehabilitation. Representative Danny Williams, who is a Republican from Seminole, I'm assuming that's a town, he led an interim study which reviewed the use of such sentences in the state and potential adopting of these reforms. He mentioned the necessity to question if Oklahoma's sentencing practices are just and what changes might be needed. He said, quote, "My goal for this study was to ask if our current sentencing practices are fair, and if not, what a change should look like." He presented to the Oklahoma House of Representatives along with Appleseed Center for Law and shared that and I hate the verbiage here, but they said inmate, but an incarcerated person's daily holding cost in Oklahoma is a little less than $70 a day, which is an annual cost of almost $25,000 a year. Over the span of 20 years, that figure soars to almost $500,000. And that is not including geriatric healthcare expenses. He also highlighted there was a recent Survivors Act, which aligns with Second Look policy principles, potentially serving as an inspiration for comprehensive reform. The proposal under consideration would allow adults serving life without parole to be assessed for possible release after 20 years. A person serving time in Oklahoma will cost taxpayers and citizens almost $500,000. That does not include geriatric expenses or healthcare expenses. There was also a recent Survivors Act in Oklahoma that aligns with this Second Look policy because it would allow adults serving life without parole to be assessed for possible release after 20 years if they meet certain benchmarks, educational growth, completed programs, and positive behavior. For those incarcerated before the age of 25, the evaluation period might be reduced to 15 years. So technically, they would only have to serve 15 years to then have a chance and an opportunity to be reevaluated, taking into account youth-related trauma and maturation alongside rehabilitation efforts. McCarty,
This is proposed. This is proposed. You said it's not
Yes.
passed.
No. He said that the benefits of this would save taxpayers almost $250,000 annually, even if only 10 people per year meet the criteria. Under this policy, victim and survivor input would be part of that review process, ensuring that their voices are not undermined. Community members and relatives of incarcerated individuals can also shared part of the study, also asked people impacted by incarceration to share their thoughts as well. So this is something that could be coming up. It could provide opportunities for sentence review and support reintegration of eligible inmates. McCarty said that another person said that he believed in this because he believes in redemption and forgiveness for everyone, but people must show they've done the work to heal and change, and they should be given a chance to prove it. Can you imagine a red state like Oklahoma actually pushing this through?
No.
I'm
Just realistically, no. Would it be cool? Yeah. That's why I was asking, is it proposed or
I'm just saying
passed?
if they're proposing this, and it's not just them, it's also other states. I don't know which other states are putting forth bills like this. I know some states have already put forth bills and gone through. But a red state like Oklahoma, I think they're looking, first of all, our economy sucks. So I think they're looking at the financial aspects really in this, because if you're going to win conservatives over, you have to come with the financial part. Like, you have to say, you're going to be saving this much money per year for taxpayers. That's money back in your wallet. I think that's the way to go about it. I think that there's a lot of other reasoning to do this. Obviously redemption and second chances, but for a red state, I think it's, that's the approach you have to take. And I hope it does go through. I hope it does, because that could set a precedent for other red states to follow and other states in general.
When do they vote on that?
I'm assuming this is going to be for the spring 2026 legislative session.
Okay.
So I was going to ask too, Paige, about the legislation that was going to maybe impact Joe. in California. I know they pulled it, and they said they were going to rework it. When is that supposed to be going back up? Do you know?
No, I don't know. I don't know if they really. It's hard. I don't really stay on top of it like I used to because it's a little too much for my mental. They've gotten really
Understood.
close to pushing it, and they literally almost did the one time, and then them for them to just like withdraw it completely. I don't. I'll know when I know. I'm not gonna
Okay.
watch it heavily because that's just not good for me.
Hey, I was there. I feel you. I'm the same way. I kind of pay attention to things, but I don't stay on
I
it unless
can't.
I really need to stay on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all I had for what up with that. Do you have anything
I
else?
do. I have one more.
Okay.
Families sue over barred in-person visits in a county jail in Colorado. A group of children and family are suing the Adams County Sheriff's Office in Colorado and its contracted telecom company, which is HomeWave, because the local jail has banned in-person contact visits with incarcerated parents instead of funnels that the families would use to normally have their visits, aka in person, or you know, seeing these people face to face. It's essentially they're doing what some of the parishes in Louisiana are doing and having these people literally drive to the facilities and get on the video machines and have video visits as you're in the same facility with them, but you can't see them face to face. The complaint that they filed alleges that the jail has prohibited in-person visits for years. This jail, they are dating back to actually 2006. Like this is a long time.
Wow.
And in recent years, they replaced them, especially with these new high-cost video phone-only systems. One parent reported sending as much as $400 a month for the calls, which we know even in some other states it can get even more than that because the prices are even more. The lawsuit argues that the children have a fundamental right to hug their parents, which is absolutely facts. Under the Colorado Constitution, they're also fighting that they have that right, and that eliminating contact visits is indeed harmful to families, which we already very much know and agree with over here. So visits are obviously more than a nice to have physical contact face to face thing for these people incarcerated, but also us as family members out here. Like it's just as important for us to see them and hug them. And when you're banning these in-person visits and making these people only meet through video, you're putting a huge burden on the incarcerated people and the families. You're making these people drive to have these video visits and pay for these visits where they would easily just sit across from a table from their loved one just because you want this telecom community or this telecom company to scoop up all the extra money. You know what I mean? I'm so tired of hearing these things, especially because I know people that are personally affected by these situations. And it's encouraging to see and hear that, although it's in a different state that I'm unfamiliar with these situations, that someone is suing the system and holding them to their constitution and saying, why can't we hug them? We're literally here.
I know Paige has had some thoughts on something that she came across this past week, and she wanted to express that, and I'm going to be here to add and support because obviously I have a personal connection to this, which I will talk about once she's
I don't want
finished.
to. I don't want to make it into a big thing like that. It's not a big thing at all.
Oh,
No.
my bad. Okay.
I just saw a video that I sent to Gigi, and I was like, I want to talk about this on the pod because this annoys me. You guys have probably seen them on Facebook or on Instagram or I think they're on TikTok too. The company Love Don't Judge, and they actually produce a bunch of different. The company who creates it makes a bunch of different shows like that, and they basically get odd situations from around the world that people would hypothetically judge. and they bring light to them. Their platform is kind of supposed to be based off of like, positivity, like giving these odd couples a light, to not judge them, but they kind of specifically, obviously, do seek out uh, couples that garner attention for any kind of reason. The company did reach out to Gigi. They reached out to me for a different show that they did, but they reached out to Gigi for Love Don't Judge, and she had passed on this because this was after she did the Scene TV interview. And even though that one was kind of done in a very good light, they did do a good job. It still was a little just too soon, too much for her. And so she passed. And I just am so thankful that she passed, because the way that they are choosing couples on the show as of recently is really upsetting to me. I'm going to be honest. The way that they approached us for our to like get us on their show was very like, it was nice, and it wasn't exploitative at all, but specifically the prison episodes I've seen recently where the loved one is in prison, they're really reaching for some of these I hate to say it, love after lockup couples, or couples that people would judge or be like, oh, that's not going to work. Like, and that's what these companies do. So that's what they want, views. So of course they're going to go and do that. But it just kind of bothers me that they would want to like clump someone like you and Michael and with all of these other stereotypical situations where they're just literally doing the same thing that Love Don't Judge, or I'm sorry, they're doing the same thing that Love After Lockup does by exploiting these couples. And like some of them, it's just like the one that I sent Gigi, that I was like, what is this? And why did they pick this? They literally picked this to exploit this woman and her relationship. And it was just, it pissed me off.
Yeah. And I will say with that story, I was very disgusted by this person's story. I don't know the woman, I don't know her loved one, but the way she was talking, like, he sends me all this money from prison and she's showing off the sneaker collection, she's showing off all the gold, like, I mean, I'm talking like gold, like you went to like Johnny Dang and got iced up. Like, I'm talking like basketball wearing like huge rapper chains, like the amount of bling she has. And it was just well, clearly we just talked about the fact that families have to pay oodles amount of money to take care of their person incarcerated. How is that happening? How are you able to have a closet full of sneakers? How are you able to have gold chain upon gold chain upon gold chain upon with diamonds and diamonds and diamonds? Like, how is this possible while he's inside? Really?
It's just
Great look.
It's just annoying.
You know what I
It's
mean?
like, okay. And also shout out to Love Don't Judge for specifically going after, like, they saw that couple and were like, oh, this is gonna hit. We don't want to actually make a difference and like,
Yeah.
like change perspectives. We want views.
Yeah. And I will say one thing with Love Don't Judge. And, they told me basically I would have to create drama because I don't have enough drama in my life. And that they wanted me to have a confrontation with my own mother, who has been nothing but supportive, if not maybe of Michael's and me's relationship, Michael and I's relationship, but of me in general, who has been an amazing mother. And I will never, ever, I'm blessed to have a beautiful mother. They wanted me to have a confrontation with her. And I'm like, first of all, I'm very protective of my family. Absolutely not. Not just to get views, you know? So I know some of y'all are, might be interested in doing things to share your story, which is storytelling is a beautiful thing. It's a powerful thing. But when they take it and twist it and manipulate it to make you look a certain way, to make you look desperate, to make you look ridiculous, to make you look stupid, I mean, that's
Yeah.
exploiting,
You just have to think about
you
what
know?
their end game is. Like, they want the clicks and they want the attention, and they don't really care if it's at your expense or your loved one.
Yeah. And then behind not only do you have that, you also have to factor in, all the backlash that's going to come from that, because people are not nice on the internet. Let's be real. I mean, people go on the internet to bitch and complain and be keyboard warriors. They don't get on there
People love
to be
to be
uplifting. The
anonymous,
majority of
especially
people.
when they can comment on things anonymously. They will say whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, there's no filter. And in this day and age, everybody seems to have a negative comment and it's okay to be hateful. So that's the society we're living in right now. So, you know, you think you're putting your story out there and then you realize I learned this through the scene TV, how much backlash. I had people messaging me, demanding me for stuff like, I need his name now, and like just crazy stuff. And it's like, you have to be very careful because those shows are catering
Yeah.
to the haters, the people that want the taboo because they're interested, but they're like, they want to judge. Let's be real. So, yeah.
That's all.
If you haven't seen it, I would check it out, and I would love to hear y'all's thoughts on it because it was just very yikes. Like, here we are doing our work, right? Here we are fighting for families that have loved ones incarcerated and trying to break stigma and trying to take away the shame, with that. And here we have someone who is shameless and just playing to every stereotype possible. Yeah.
Anyway,
All right, Paige, were you ready to
Sure.
dive on into
Sure I
our
am.
viewers' major questions and comments we got here? All right, here we go. Play.
This is a prepaid collect call from
Frederick.
an inmate at Florida Correctional Institution.
All right, guys, it's Florida Fred. That means it's time for your questions, comments, and boy, did y'all have a lot of comments and questions. So we did 3 this way. We obviously have our speaky pipes. We obviously have our conventional questions on Instagram. Then I put up the NGL link, and holy cow, did y'all blow that up? So, Paige, do you want to start with the Instagram ones first, or you want to start with the NGL ones first?
Yeah,
The
the
Instas?
first one we have on Insta from
Okay.
Miss Addie is, what is your Roman Empire as a prison wife? The thing you think about too often for no reason.
When you say like Roman Empire, is that like a negative thing or a positive thing?
I feel like it
Is it leaning more like what brings you down?
I don't know enough about
Like the
history. I'm
Roman
not gonna
Empire?
even pretend like I know if that like is a Roman Empire good.
I know, but I know people are using that. Well, it was good until it wasn't there, until it
Well,
it
then-
fell.
So maybe
I just know people are using that phrase lately, like that's my Roman Empire, and I'm like,
like you're sad about it.
What-
Well,
Okay.
I'm gonna
I don't know.
ask
I don't know what it means,
ChatGPT.
but ooh, let's ask Chatty. What's he got to say today? I missed his voice.
Oops. I said room empire instead of Roman. It's known for engineering, architecture, law. The saying. It started from an observation that a lot of men frequently think about the Roman Empire, like daily. So people started saying, "How often do you think about the Roman Empire?" So it's like that saying.
So I guess it's just something we
Yeah.
think about a lot. Okay. My Roman Empire moment, thought, whatever you want to call it, is the fact that I constantly, whenever I'm driving to visit, whenever I'm at Angola on the bus, my thought that always blares through my head is, I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life. I'm literally going to be doing this for the rest of my life. That's what blares through my brain. So
God, if I had that,
that's
if I
my
had that
Roman
thought in my
Empire.
head every time I had to get on the goddamn fucking plane and then do all that other shit, I would jump. I would open that emergency exit
Yeah.
door. My Roman Empire, I'm gonna make it a good one because it's how I always motivate myself to get there and get excited when I'm getting there. Is the very moment of our visits when Joseph and I's like eyes first meet and we first see each other for the first time after however long, because it's always like that same crazy like butterfly insane feeling in my stomach, and I'm always like chasing that feeling and like I can't wait to see him. So I'm gonna say that.
Aw. Okay. No, I sound like a Debbie Down. I sound like
Well,
womp
I
womp
mean,
womp.
it's reality.
It is. It's my reality. So. All right, I have a question from my sorority sister Elle. She said, "Have any of Michael's or Joe's friends asked either of you to introduce them or hook them up with someone?"
They sure have. They sure have.
Yes. Find me a
Yeah,
good woman,
especially
Gigi. Find me
when
a
they
good
know
woman.
that
That's
like
what I
your
get.
man has like a down woman who is like a good wife and like is there and support. They're like, where can I find one of those? Does she have any friends? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So definitely.
Yes, absolutely. More than I'd like to probably admit. So,
I've only done
yeah.
it a few times though because I stayed true to that rule of not mixing too much because it can just cause problems.
Yeah. I did that when I was first. I tried to hook people up when I was first in this life. Now I'm like,
Yeah.
no,
No.
I'm not doing that. Done.
Okay. We had a suggestion that said future episode idea 12 Days of Christmas prison visit edition.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm gonna write that down. Nice. I like that. Well, speaking of, we do have our holiday storytelling series coming in December. But that is a great suggestion for maybe like a little episode in between or a segment or something like that. I love that. Thank you, honeys. All right. Are we ready to dive into the anonymous questions? Here we go. All right. Okay. All right. Paige, first question. What's the most romantic thing your man has ever said to you?
That's so hard. I don't know. Because, like, he says a lot of romantic things to me. I kind of love when he talks romantic to me when we're getting it on. Like that, I do like that.
Ooh, okay.
Because I'm like, I do like
Yeah.
romantic things, not all the time, because if it's too much on me, it feels fake. So, like, especially in a moment like
Yeah.
that, I like that, you know?
Yeah. Mine would be when Michael tells me that I'm his
I
best
love when
friend.
Joseph says that.
Like, you're my best friend. I'm like, I love you. Thank you so much. That means so much to me. I know it's not like, I don't know. I guess it wouldn't be like Hallmark romantic, but
It's
it's just
special.
like everyday romantic. Yeah. It's just in the moment, I love that shit. Your
Have you
turn.
ever had a hard moment or phase within your relationship that that you felt conflicted about? How did you resolve it or overcome it? Of course. Of course. I feel like
Oh,
every
yeah.
relationship has those moments and where you feel conflicted, but I feel like a lot of it is taking time like on your own to process it and then process it with them and not like not letting your overthinking mind just create the narrative and run on that, and just like, speaking your mind and being transparent with your person. That's been the best way that Joseph and I, like, even when I am feeling crazy, like, I'll just tell him, I'll be like, hey, I'm crazy right now and this is what my brain is thinking, and he can tell me, be like, hey, your brain's crazy right now, or hey, you're not, you know what I mean? So that's my person. He signed up for this, you know what I mean? He signed up for this roller coaster, so he can buckle out.
Yeah. And Joe's
Yes.
so good at navigating that too. Like he really is. Michael's kind of the same. He wants to always talk about it. I'm also the person that's like, I don't want to talk about it right now. Like I'll talk about it, but not right now. That's me. But he pushes me. He pushes me to be a better communicator. when we do have these issues. But there are some times where I completely shut down. Um, we've had our issues, we've had fights, we've had. I wouldn't say they're often or anything like that, but when we do have them, they're pretty intense. But I think that at the end of the day, the best thing is to give space when needed, but also know that you will have to talk about it, and you do need to have that open line of communication. Because I will say, once I talk about it, I feel so much better. You know. So yeah, I think get having the dialogue and having that conversation, even when things are really hard, is beneficial. Even if you don't want to do it in the moment, it does really make a
Facts.
difference. Yeah. All right. Next question. Sometimes my partner gets a little shut down when there are prison things happening, giving him stress and whatnot. Sometimes I feel pressured to help or fix his problems because of my own anxiety. Any advice on how to balance being in a relationship and letting my man work his own stuff out?
Whoever sent that, you might be the same person as me, because I feel like I had to go through that same exact like process like in my head. And like even still sometimes when Joseph's dealing with things, I have to kind of put it like he's got it, he's gonna handle it, it's not my job to process it or handle it, you know what I mean? And he's been in this world and this life for a lot longer than I've had knowledge of it, so he is able to carry himself and handle himself better than I am. And a lot of the times when we do stress or have anxiety about those things, it's just us like making it a bigger problem in our head, or you know what I mean, and that's not actually helping them. So I think even like journaling and getting things out on paper, and then maybe even like touching base with them after the fact and be like, hey, these are all the feelings that I was feeling, and I just didn't want to put it on you because I knew you were dealing with these things. And like even that sometimes can give them a better picture of what's going on inside your head moving forward, and they can know, that you're also on the same page, and maybe that's your way of handling it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's a great strategy. And I would also just say, like, you have to have trust in them. Like Paige said, our loved ones have been in this life. They know what to do. They know how to handle themselves. We are not there. We don't see the real of what happens. I mean, we come to visit, but that's a totally different world than when they go back to their, dorms, cells, whatever. I think if they're going through something, if there's something heavy going on in the moment, I think the best thing that you can do as a partner is just be there for them and listen to them. I know we want to help, we want to fix, we want to do, but sometimes in that part, we just can't. We can't do everything. But like if you're feeling wound up about it or you're anxious about it, journaling is such a great therapy. And then you can just make notes of how you're feeling and check in later. Like you said, I think that's really great. But if they're going through something, I think the best thing that we can do is just listen to them, because we are we are their safe space. We are their emotional outlet, to where, like, if I'm having a bad day, I know I can vent to Michael. Michael's having a bad day, he knows he can vent to me, and just be present and listen and support them, by being there, basically.
I feel like damn it, I had a point with that. I forgot. It's okay.
Aw.
My next one is, how was Florida Fred created? I'd love to know the backstory. That's gotta be Gigi, because I don't even.
It just popped in my brain because I had the sound bite for Florida's, I guess, Securus phone call system, and I'm just like, Florida, I need a alliteration, I need another F, so I just said Fred. That's basically how that happened. I just got this thing and I said, hey, we're going to use this for our calls or our comments and all that. So that's it was just kind of spur of the moment, really, to be honest. So yeah, now he's like a whole, like, Paige has made him like a whole scamming real life main character at this
He's real.
point. So love it. All right. Next question. Was there an aha moment where you knew he was the one, or was it a slow burn with lots of moments along the way?
I think that I knew the whole time. Like I think it goes back to literally, it sounds insane, but like the letter and those moments where I talk about like not writing back, like I had those weird, crazy feelings in my gut and my intuition. I'm not making that shit up. Like, it's like I literally, my brain knew that this person was going to be a big part of my life, whether I wanted him to be or not at that moment. you know,
Yeah.
there was nothing gradual about
Yeah.
our
I'm going to say the
relationship.
same. It was no, nothing gradual here either, for sure. I kind of had that same thing where I saw Michael's profile and his picture, and I just immediately, something in my gut told me to stop there, like, don't stop looking. Because I was looking for a little while before I had made a decision. And I knew that he was my person. I kind of had no, I felt like I knew him, like kind of like you and Joe. I mean, we kind of very similar stories. Like, felt like I knew him. I felt like we were friends or we knew of each other. Like, he didn't
hmm
feel foreign to me at all. Um, and when I saw him in person at Visit for the first time, it solidified
Yeah,
everything for me.
I feel
Yeah.
that.
So yeah, definitely ahas.
My next question is, do you feel like there are any red flags in any, if any, that you would indicate a person is scamming rather than looking for a relationship? And if so, what are those red flags? Well, I would say, are they asking you for money on a frequent basis, and like especially like every day, or for like little things, or like, especially I know there's some guys that when they write to, I've had girls that have started writing to men incarcerated and ask me, they're like, these men are asking me to send them money back so that he can reply to me. Should I do that? And I'm like, I mean, uh, I don't, I mean, I know some people's money situations are different, but I mean, that's sometimes how even it starts
Yeah.
with some of these people, and it's just kind of getting their foot in the door and then working one over. So, like, of course, there are good people in prison, but the multitude is going to be people that have that brain that want to, see what they can and can't
Yeah.
get from you. So I would say asking for money, um, not like frequently wanting that connection or like calling you, or if you're questioning the relationship, more than you're feeling comfortable, like just trust your intuition on that. Like a lot of time these scammers don't do a lot to hide the fact that they're scamming because they are just talking to so many people and they don't really give
Yeah.
a shit. So like if they are rude or they like give you a sign that they might be like that, maybe like give them some rope and let them see if they'll hang themselves and be like, okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. And, a lot of them will tell you things like, I'm not that kind of guy. I don't do that. They come out the gate saying that. And it's like, dude, like, you're basically writing a
I
confession
need a
by
girl to
coming out
hold
saying,
me
I'm not that kind of guy.
down. Are you gonna hold me
Yeah.
down?
Also,
No.
this was part of that scamming thing too, where they'll talk to you for a little while, and then all of a sudden you stop hearing from them for a few days. Then they come back and go, "Oh, I need this. Can you help me take care of this?" And then they don't hear from them for a few days. Then they come back again. Like where there's gaps and they're not actively being wanting to talk to you every day, or even if you don't talk every day, like long periods of time where I've had women message me like, "Is this normal?" And I'm like, "Well, I mean, he could be having a situation, but he also could be talking to other women and not wanting to talk to you today. You know what I mean?" So, I would say if there's long lapses where, like Paige said, if you're starting to question things, you don't have shutdowns or shakedowns every day. Let's be real. So if it's like, if it happens once, then that's different. But I'm talking like consecutive gaps with communication, and then as soon as they get back to you asking for more money, that's, yeah. All right. The next question: how do you manage the finances and legal aspects of the situation?
Barely.
Yeah.
I haven't had to, I mean, we haven't gone to court to do any of the legal stuff yet, but that'll be its own beast. But the financial is hard, y'all. Like, y'all hear us talk about it on here all the time. Like, especially I gotta travel across the country to see Joseph, and then I got to pay for a rental car. I got to pay for a hotel. I got to pay for food. I got to pay for all these things. And it's so much and it's a lot on us. So I think it's just, not overdoing it or over committing yourself, like how I had to like make decisions and, you know, not putting myself into a terrible bucket, but still being able to see my honey. It's hard. It's really hard, y'all.
Yeah, you have to really learn how to balance your budget, and sometimes there are times where Mike goes without. There are times where we don't talk on the phone or we don't send emails because I can't afford it, or it's a tight month, or he doesn't get money on the books. So it's all about learning. I will say you do have to learn how to budget being a prison wife. You really do. If not, it will kick you in the face, or you will become very stressed out. And obviously, we know, but we don't want that for anybody. But you just have to know what you have and just know that you can't pour all your finances into this and then try to live your life. Like, you have to live your life first. And if that means that they have to eat ramen soups for a little while, that's what they have to do. So yeah, it's definitely something that I've had to learn over the years for sure, how to manage the money situation. So, because Mike doesn't have a job, Mike doesn't work, they're not allowed to work. So it's not like he can support himself. So,
Ha-
all right.
yeah. Has
Oh, your
anxiety
turn.
ever gotten the best of you in your relationship? I know it has for me many times, just to be dead wrong about something my brain cooked up. How do you combat that if so? I think we kind of hit this a little bit earlier, but I like y'all. My
Yeah.
biggest tip and trick for this, because my brain does that. I'm one of those girlies. Writing it down and then coming back to it is always it always is funny for me. It like because half the time I am dramatic.
Hmm.
Like there are times that I've done this and I've been right, and I've gone back and I'm like, no, I'm still valid in these thoughts, but a lot of times I will go back and sometimes I'll show them to Joe and I'll be like, "Do you want to see what my brain was convinced was reality yesterday?" And I'll show him and he'll be like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Oh my God. That's something I need to do because I don't write it down and
Yeah,
I
it's
just
hard.
spiral.
It's easy to do if you don't do that because you're not catching yourself or checking yourself.
Yeah, like reading it back to yourself, you realize, okay, yeah, woo, way off. Like you're going down a rabbit hole that you shouldn't
Hmm.
be going down. So, yeah. And Paige, I will say, sometimes I spiral to Paige and she like checks me and she's like, okay, well, this, like, are you sure you want to think about, like, are you really, is this really happening? Or are you like just going crazy in your brain? I'm like, probably
Hmm.
going crazy in my brain because I'm definitely an overthinker.
It's
So,
easier. It's
yeah.
it's the way the psychology behind it is that your brain wants to jump to the worst possible scenario so that when and if it was to occur, you're like, "Oh, good, I already knew that that was fucking happening because that's what I had in my brain." So it's like you're getting yourself all worked up for these things that are very much probably not even factually true. And for what?
Yeah. Facts. Big facts. So write it down, y'all. It will
It's
help, I
funny. It
promise.
literally is funny. Come back to it because like there have been times where when I was in that moment, I was dead ass serious and very confident in my feelings, and
Mhm.
I would go back and be like, "Who is she? Like, who's this woman? Yeah, like,
Who
is
is
she
this
good? Can
bitch?
someone get her a
What is she
Xanax?" Like,
doing?
oh my god, like, like,
All right. Our next question. What is one thing you wish more people understood about being a prison wife?
uh, I wish that I think just my general wish is that people were able to use their brains and understand that a prison wife is not just Ashley Trevino, and a prison wife is a woman that isn't dumb, stupid, a loser, have no one else. Like, these are women that are the same as everyone else that have made a commitment and are honoring that and supporting their husbands. And that does not mean that you get to judge them or that we're any less than you are or that our love is any less.
Yeah. And we're also not
Yeah.
criminals ourselves. Like, they treat us like we did the crime. And like, some of us didn't even know about it until we met our loved ones. So, yeah, Paige is 1,000% on point. I agree with everything. And I would just say that we are hardworking, tax-paying, good people that happen to have a loved one that's not with us, and that we still love, and that our love is real. I think that what you said was perfect, Paige. Our love is valid. Our love is real. Just because it's not conventional or what society thinks is normal, it's normal to us. So, all right.
Oh, I have. Yeah.
Sorry, it's your turn. My
Gigi,
bad.
how do you feel
Sorry.
about Marcus deleting South Carolina?
That's from Danger. I wore this just for you, Danielle.
that.
Hope you appreciate it. I'm okay with him taking North Carolina as long as he
He
got
took
his
South
Google Play
Carolina.
cards South Carolina. As long as he got his Google Play cards and successfully laundered $17,000 into a locally owned Greek
Tax
restaurant.
evasion. Love him.
Sorry, guys. This is Marcus. He's on my chest.
Y'all-
He is my spirit animal. If you
Look
don't
up
know him, you
Marcus
need to
Marcus
follow
the
him on
Worm
Instagram.
on TikTok if you don't know what we're talking about. And just if you don't get it, then I don't know it. If you're not going to get it within like the first few TikToks, then it's not for you. That's all I'll say.
Well said.
I've shown it to some people who are like, okay, and I'm like, all right, it's just not for you.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
But if you do enjoy it, you'll go down a rabbit hole and you will
Yes.
just laugh your
Especially
ass off
like
the whole time.
it's hard for me to find things that make me laugh my ass off. But when I first found that, it did the job. So 10 out of 10.
All right. Nice. All right. Paige, this rock is pissing me off.
Me most of the time.
I'm mildly
It's like
irritated.
he's like a new friend. He's like, I don't like you. To like the VR. I'm like, it makes me want to get a VR.
Yeah.
Like, no, I love it.
Sorry. This is what we talk about. Once you get into it, you can't
Literally
not say the quotes. All right, our next question. What is the most important thing you have learned about yourself during this time?
What do you say for yourself?
Okay. I'm going to say that I am a lot stronger than I give myself credit for. I have learned that I can push through and persevere even when things feel like I'm at the end of my rope. I can still, or I've been knocked down, I can keep getting up. I think this journey has really taught me a lot about my growth, myself, and perseverance. Because I've had everything kind of knock me down that could, and I'm still standing. So, I always compare myself to the phoenix rising from the ashes. So,
I like that.
That would be mine.
I would probably say the same, and that I have a lot more confidence in myself, and I think I finally am able to truly stand and know who I am as a person, and it doesn't matter as much what anyone thinks about me or the assumptions that they write up, because I do know the person that I am, and I know my heart, and I know that I always go into situations with best intention, and like I know the person that I am, and it doesn't matter what these people think about me because they might, see that I'm married to someone and like I'm like that doesn't change who I am.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Absolutely. I'm like, agree.
Love.
I would say the confidence and to know that, like especially if you're happy and you're good with where you are. I mean, I think the confidence in yourself, the confidence in this whole like advocacy realm, I see that with you, and just out of fucks today. I'm not giving a
Mm-hmm.
fuck what people think, because everybody's got a fucking opinion and they all stink. Let's be real. I think this pod has helped me
Mm-hmm.
get there. Yeah, doing the pod for me has helped me not really give a fuck about what other people think. And let me say this, a woman that is confident, that doesn't give a fuck what people think about, is unstoppable. First of all, she's sexy. Second of all, she's
Yeah.
unstoppable. Like, people stop and
Mm-hmm.
stare and admire that.
And I can even
So,
say as a woman, like not even talking about like prison wife life, like when I see a woman on live or doing anything, just being confidently herself, like I admire that and I love that. And if anything, I'm like
yeah.
you're not threatened by that. You honor it. You know what I mean?
100.
I want to get more involved in advocacy, but find it hard to know where to start and overwhelmed by all the options and agencies. Any good places to start for anyone super green to the cause? Any advice would be lovely. I know advocacy looks different for everyone as well. I think best place to start is like depending on you know if you have a loved one in a certain state or where you're located, like looking locally. If you don't have anything locally, or if, like, for example, if you're like me, like I got involved in some local things, like with FAM, but then I also got more involved with Drop LWAP across the country because my husband has LWAP. So, like, I found personally getting involved with specific advocacy that is close to me and my heart is where my passion is. So it's like I find it and I go. And I feel like that is kind of where I would recommend starting for anyone who's getting into it.
Absolutely. I think, like you said, starting small, starting at the local level, even having those, even if you, I'm just going to throw this out there. Even if you don't know what to do, but you just want to get support and resources, there is a wonderful nonprofit that I met at the conference. I met him in 2018, and obviously we reconnected this past conference. It's called the Prison Family Alliance and PFA. And they have stuff. They host like Zoom calls. They can help you get the connections to get the advocacy groups that you really want to focus in on. They're really good at supporting people that are interested in. First of all, they're great at supporting people who have a loved one incarcerated, but also getting into that advocacy realm as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
all right, is it my turn? My turn. Oh, okay. I'm excited about this one. I have my first anniversary coming up. Any way I can celebrate it, make it special given the circumstances? We have mail, in person visits, and video visits. How have you celebrated anniversaries in the past with your loved one?
Um, we like to do like fun. I mean, I know a lot of women that like to go all out. We don't go all out, Joseph and I, but if you have video visits and it's your very first one, it'd be kind of cute to do like get like a little balloon or something. That's like a one. Or like do like something cute and have like a little setup there for when he calls and you can be like, "Oh, yay," or something like that. I know a lot of ladies like to do like the different picture things where like, so and so loves me so much it reached Pennsylvania, or different crafts and things
Yeah.
like that. It's hard when you're in this position, but I feel like little things like that are cute. Joseph and I haven't
Yeah.
done a date like that in a while, so maybe we're overdue.
Yeah. And also, Michael and I used to read our first letters to each other on our anniversary, just to show how far we've come from those first initial letters that we both had. So that's something that we used to do. Also, obviously, I dress up during video visits, like in costumes to surprise him. I'll wear like a onesie, like a unicorn onesie, or I wore a nun outfit one time. You can also go the opposite route and do some more like, pictures to send to him. And, if you want to go that way too, that's an option as well.
F, marry, kill.
Ooh, yes.
I can't think of what Paul Rudd looks like.
Paul Rudd is the guy from Clueless, the stepbrother. He's also the aunt. He like doesn't age.
Paul Rudd, Chris Hemsworth, and Prince Harry.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well,
Me too.
I'm killing Prince Harry. I'm fucking Hemsworth, and I'm marrying Paul Rudd.
This is how much I don't know celebrities, y'all. Like anytime I'm ever given these, I'm probably gonna have to just Google them.
Yeah, Google Paul Rudd.
Well, even Chris
You'll know who he is
Hemsworth, I'm
when
like,
you
I
see
know
him.
Liam. Okay, he's okay.
They're both cute.
I mean,
so.
I have a type.
He's funny. He's really funny. He's quirky funny.
Oh,
You might
Paul
like
Rudd,
him.
I'd marry. Yeah, he's like the DILF.
Yeah. Yes. He looks great too. He doesn't
And
age
he's
at all.
funny.
He looks the same as
He's
he did
funny.
in Clueless.
I like funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Same as
so
you.
You're marrying Paul Rudd. Oh, same. Okay. Hey. All right. Here we go. Next question. Guys, we love Fuck, Marry, Kills. Thank you for sending those in. Sorry. All right. I have a prison wife friend who tells me about her relationship, and it just screams red flag to me. I try to tell her without being judgmental or rude, but she seems content on staying. I know it's not my responsibility, but have you ever been in this situation? And how can you balance friendships and boundaries?
You want to go first?
I can. I have been in this situation before where women clearly are either sabotaging their own relationships or the guys are just controlling, very verbally abusive, seem like a scammer, whatever. At some point, you can't, and I did this to myself, I would bang my head up against the wall. And I'm like, I'm trying to help you. And like, oh, you won't, like she won't listen. Listen, at some point, you have to say, I love you. I care about you, but I can't talk about your relationship anymore. I can't. It doesn't feel right to me. And I'm being honest. Like I just tell women red flags, just warning you, red flags. Like that's all I say. I don't go into detail anymore because I'm basically telling you, this is not okay. This is sus. And this is a red flag moment. And then, luckily, and then sometimes I've had to tell women like, I don't want to be involved in your relationship anymore. Like, I don't want to hear about it anymore. I'm sorry. We're still friends. I had to establish that boundary because it was making my mental health crazy trying to help someone who really, in the end of the day, does not want to be helped because they keep going back to it. And I was in a very abusive relationship. I get it. I did that too when I was in that type of relationship. I did not want to leave. I felt obligated to stay. And it wasn't until I realized I don't have to stay. Like I had to make it up in my mind to walk away. So you can't change somebody that doesn't want to change. So unfortunately, some of these women have to experience the pain, the hurt, and I've seen women that go through it, then they go back in and go to a different guy. So who does the same shit. So just know you have limits and it's important to have boundaries because, you can't make yourself crazy over someone's red flag relationship. At the end of the day, I hate saying it like that, but there's only so much you can do.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think that there's people that want to be helped, and then there's just people that don't really want it. And as someone who has also been in an abusive, terrible relationship, like it took me having a child to leave. It wasn't even like me being disrespected. It was having to see my child not be treated right, and like that's a lot of the times that you can't even have that happen when they're incarcerated. So I understand the women who stay, but I just say, you know, try to support them as best as you can while not damaging your own mental health. And, you know, all you can do is warn them and show them the signs when they're there. If they don't want to listen to it, that's on them. And if it gets to a point where like you can't watch them suffer, then I would just say that to them. Be like, hey, like I know that you're happy in this relationship, I guess, but it's really it's hurting me to see you be treated this way, and I can't, you know, idly stand by.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's part of making boundaries for yourself, so you don't put yourself into a spiral.
It can be
you know, trying
triggering
to help
as a
somebody.
person who has had terrible relationships, because you know you've sat there and you've been that person. So it's like when they tell you like, oh, you don't know, it's like I know, it's like I get it,
Mhm.
but it's you know helping them out of that hole if they're willing.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are your relationship deal breakers, if you have any? Cheating.
Cheating, lying, breaking trust.
Getting
That's once you
getting in
lie to me or
trouble
break my
and on the
trust,
inside
it's
and they're
done.
doing something fucking stupid that would make you lose visits, or that's gonna be you're gonna be in trouble. Not even just with the prison.
Well, yeah. I told Mike if he did something stupid, I would come up there and
You don't got to
like,
worry about the
first of
prison,
all,
all right? You got to worry
this
about
is how
me.
talk about talk about abuse. Talk about an abusive person. I'm so verbally abusive. I told Michael because I hear you. Listen, you hear stories on the internet. I mean, you go on these Facebook groups, some of these prison wife groups. You hear stories of women getting played, getting
We have
cheated on.
friends. We have
You know,
friends that it
found out.
happens to that have solid
Yeah,
relationships. The men get out and they're someone completely different than they fucking pretended to be the whole time.
yeah. And I told Michael recently that happened,
Yeah.
and one of our good friends had that happen to. And I told Michael, if you are talking to other women, or if you get out and you leave me, I'm finding you and I'm cutting off your dick. Like I am like Lorena Bobbitt. Like, do not mess with me. Like, and I had to have that conversation with Michael straight from the gate. Like, I just got out of a relationship where I was cheated on. I just got out of a verbally abusive relationship. Like, if I'm gonna do, first of all, if I'm gonna do this shit, this death row shit, I'm doing it. But if I find out, like, you're gonna have the prison's
That's
gonna
why
be the
I'm
least
like,
of
you're
your
not going to be
worries.
upset about
Basically.
whatever consequences you need to deal with them, because guess what? I will dip so fucking fast. You won't even say bye.
Yeah. Yep. Amen. You will not even know I existed at this point. Um, but yeah, for me, lying and cheating and breaking trust is a
Yeah.
huge deal breaker.
It's like
for me.
everything in our relationships. So
All right, my turn.
no, it's
Or
your
was
turn.
was that your question or my question? Okay. My parents are quite indifferent about my relationship. Any first steps I can take to try to open that door a little more? Is time the best way to go about it? I am engaged and would love to be able to include my partner more in my family life. Any advice?
As someone who has the same problem, I mean, I guess it depends on how much the relationship you have with your family. Like, do they like how do you handle those situations? Because like for example, as I've talked about on this pod before, my mom is like has like a silent agreement where like she knows but she isn't gonna like openly talk with me about Joseph or anything. um and that's kind of how she's been my whole life with situations like that, so that's like not off base at all. So like that is normal for us. So like I kind of, when I push the border with her, it'll be in small ways like that. So I feel like it's knowing your parent, like knowing how they process things and kind of working with them, even though it shouldn't really have to be like that, in my opinion, because it's our relationship, and the fact that, we're even stepping on eggshells and trying to navigate it says, I think, more than anything to them, that we're taking this time to handle it with care. And even though we already know it's a solid situation, we just respect our family. So I think evaluating that and kind of going from there, and maybe gradually inching them into the life. It's a lot for them at first, and I get it, and that's what I always try to say to people. It's like, who's ever like, I want my child to grow up and marry someone incarcerated for the rest of their life. And I get that as a mom. I get that as a parent. You know what I mean? I understand. But it's like, you also have to look at me as a human and as the daughter that you raised, and know that I am sane and that I am of sound mind and I can make my own decisions.
Yeah. I was going to say, sometimes it takes time. It doesn't happen. Mine took 7 years. My parents did not want me to not want to talk about Michael, have anything to do with Michael. And then one day my mom just opened up and started talking to me about it. And I'm like, okay. And we had a heart to heart. But it doesn't happen overnight. And I love what you said, Paige, about the fact that this is somebody that they wouldn't choose for you. You have to keep that in the back of your mind, because you're their baby. And this is not their first choice at all. If anything, it'd probably be their last choice. Let's be real. You have to be empathetic to understanding that thought process that they're having, because, they care about you. It's not because they're trying to be ugly, or, I'm sure it's coming from a place of caring that they don't want you with this person, because, they already, we've been trained by society to think everybody in prison is horrible people. Your job is to be confident, to gradually educate. I love what Paige did. We did last year with 5 ways to interact with your family at Thanksgiving. God, that was so brilliant. Just like, did you know that certain percent of people that have longer sentences do not reoffend? Can you please pass the mashed potatoes and gravy? Like spitting out facts about your loved one, just dropping little things to show like, I know your husband left you last week, but let me tell you what so-and-so is doing
Aunt Brenda is
you know?
bringing a new man to Thanksgiving every year, but you guys are pissed off that I've been with the same man incarcerated for 5 years.
Yeah. And he's doing A, B, and C to prove that he is a different.
Meanwhile, Aunt Branda's husband was arrested like a week ago for a DUI, but we don't care because he's not in prison for life. That's literally like what it.
Yeah, he could have injured himself or somebody, Yeah, absolutely. I would just say be confident, start small. And if you get backlash, back off. You have to respect their boundaries too. I mean, I will say that. So, all you can do is keep trying, but be confident, own your relationship. If you are happy, I told somebody this last week, if you're happy in your relationship, own it. Because who's going to fuck with you if you're confident in your relationship? Nobody.
Facts.
So, yeah. All right. Are you out, or do you need more? Okay, I'm sending you one right now, and I'll do the other one. That was fast. Meanwhile, I'm frizzing. Well, I have a lot of humidity here. All right, I have one, and then Paige is going to do the last one. Do you openly tell people you are married if the topic of relationships comes up in a random conversation? Or do you still pretend that you just aren't interested in a relationship right now?
I think it depends where I am being asked that. I don't think I've ever openly said that I am single, ever. I haven't. I was never like that. I would just either be like, I'm not interested, or I am seeing someone. For like the longest time, when people didn't know Joseph was in prison, they just thought he lived in California. So, it kind of worked like that. But I Even now, though, I'll be honest, it just depends on where I am. I don't really think that there's anyone that I would hide it from because, like, even when I think about work, like, most of my work people know now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, I was the one that did for a very long time. I did say I was single or I was not interested. Or I was just doing me right now, like especially after my divorce. That's what I said a lot. I'm just doing me right now. I'm just focusing on me right now. But I also would say that, I'm single. I don't have anybody. And that's when people would
And
try
that's
to
what
hook
I
me up with their
did not
friends.
ever want.
And then, yeah, yeah. And that's where, a lot of issues, like I was like conflicted about a lot of things. But now I don't give a fuck. I'm telling everybody. I don't care if you ask. If you
Yeah,
don't
I don't
ask, I'm not
openly
going to
walk
say
around
anything.
and say, hey,
But if you
guess what?
ask
I'm married to
me,
someone in
yeah,
prison. Like, no.
yeah. But if people at work ask, I'm not going to lie because they all know. They all watch the TikToks. They all listen. Some of them listen to the pod. So there's no point in hiding it. I'm not out here like wearing Michael's
Mugshot.
his mugshot tee at work or anything. But if somebody asks me, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to own it. I'm just like, and so point,
Period.
you know. So
The last question that I got over here is communication, respect, trust, independence, intimacy, empathy, compromise, shared times, etc. These are all essential in a relationship. While most of these are essential, what are your top 3 for you and your relationship personally, and how would you rate them?
ooh, okay.
Trust.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
trust is a big one for
communication.
me. Communication, and I would say, ooh, my Gemini self is rolling towards
I'm rolling
independence.
towards empathy, my Cancer self.
Okay.
I'm like, you need to be able to be an empathetic
Yeah,
person, or else you can't be my husband.
I agree. And these are all crucial, but definitely communication and
Hmm.
trust are my top two. Um, I would say the one that I need to work on the most that I have been actually working on with my relationship with Michael because I wasn't so great at it in my marriage was
Hmm.
compromise. That's my one that I actively have to be make myself aware of to be better at. So to grow as a
Hmm.
wife, obviously.
I feel like I could grow in
So
many of these, but
yeah.
that's probably what I would do.
And I think for me, for me, independence, I'm a lone wolf. I mean, I can do stuff on my own. I love having my independence. So I value that very highly as a Gemini. A lot of my Geminis can probably attest to that. And obviously the empathy aspect. Cancer, very empathetic, very, in touch with their feelings and the feelings of others. So yeah, I love that. And intimacy is a big deal, but it's not my top. I wouldn't be
Like,
my
I know
top
that
three.
that's there without even worrying about it. You know what I mean? Like, we have that without even working on it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like
Yeah.
we don't need to work on, yeah.
It's organic. Yeah. Well, thank you guys. And but I do can I just say this? All of those are
Hmm.
so essential. And I think all of those make a healthy relationship. So if you're like, if you're doing like a relationship health check, those are the things you should be looking at. Those communication, respect, trust, independence, intimacy, empathy, compromise, shared time, like wanting to
Shared
putting the
time,
effort
especially
in
in these
to
relationships too, because like I know
correct.
many women who their men will either like anytime they have yard or anytime they have anything, they'll go and they'll do that, and then like their women are like a second option, and it's like they absolutely can and they should split up their time, but just make sure that you're not always like the back burner and always make sure that as much as you give your time to them, they're also giving their time to you.
Amen. Very valid. Yes. Well, those are all of our questions. Thank you guys for putting those. Those are some really great questions. We did also have three, I can't believe it, three speaky pipes. The first one is from our friend who was on the pod, Christina.
Hi, it's Christina, and here is my question. Basically, when you and your loved one have been doing date things to stay connected, for example, video visits, reading a travel magazine together, or whatever virtual date things, if they all of a sudden stop doing them or showing up late or no showing at all, what is your advice on how I should navigate that, or what conversation I should have? Because I understand that prison's stressful, but because all this is stopping, it's making me feel hurt. It's also making me feel like maybe his feelings for me have changed, and it's making me also scared because I do love him and I don't want to lose him. And to me, these behaviors is a language. So I just wanted to get both of your, suggestions on what we can do when that happens.
She's so sweet. I love
No,
her
I
so
love
much.
her.
You know what's weird is that listen, her brain did the overthinking thing there, and her situation, oddly enough, is a situation that Joseph and I went through recently, but the rules were reversed. We had our date nights where we would read a book, and I was the one that was kind of moving away from it, and it wasn't because I love him less or because I don't want to do it or X, Y, or Z. It's just my brain is always on anyone who knows or has friends and loved ones who have ADHD, you guys just know, I will pick up things and then I will put them down. Sometimes they'll be unfinished. That's a lot of the time. And it's not that I don't want to spend that time with Joseph, but it's like the book we were reading, for example, that time I was like, I'm bored of it. I didn't want to keep going. And I didn't say that to him. I didn't directly say I don't want to keep listening or I'm over it. Or he just was like, why do you keep not wanting to do this? And I'm like, and it gave him that feeling of that my feelings are changing or I'm not connected. And it's like, no, that's not it at all. I just didn't want to keep doing that. And then we were able to talk about it, which you should be able to do, totally bring that up to him, let him know how you're feeling because he wants to know. And he definitely wants to know if he's hurting your feelings unintentionally. You know what I mean? Like Joseph, I definitely wanted to know that I was making him feel that way, and being able to talk about it and work through it. We're already on another book that we're both super interested in, and all because he finally said something to me about it, and I was like, thank you.
Yeah. I was going to say, definitely using the I statements or when you do this, I feel this. Because you're not wanting to do this anymore, I feel this way. Or just asking, hey, is there something going on? Is there a reason where you don't want to do this anymore? I'm kind of getting that vibe. Just be open and honest and communicate. I feel like, he may be feeling a certain type of way. He may be having a stressful moment, or, he may just be like, hey, I kind of don't want to do that anymore. Can we do something else? Or maybe be like, what's your suggestion? I think opening those lines of communication, but also expressing how you feel can make him aware. Maybe he's just not seeing it because, we can't see them every day. So making him aware of how you're feeling because, you feel like he's not into this or he's not showing up on time. Just be like, it matters to me. And my feelings are kind of hurt, And I think if you make him aware, maybe it'll make him aware. And then that will either put more effort into this or try something new, So, yeah. But thank you for calling in, Christina. Hopefully we can gave you some good advice. I think Paige also had some good perspectives that sometimes our mind goes to the worst case scenario, but really it's not that bad, All right. We have 2 messages from Dan Gurr, our girl. Here we go. Here's our first one.
Hi guys, I just had a question for Paige, but Gigi, you can answer too if you feel like it applies. I know in some of the other episodes, Paige, you've mentioned you have ADHD, and I have ADHD too. So I was kind of wondering if you could elaborate or like had anything to say about that. Like if you feel like ADHD has like had any influence in your relationship at all, because I know for me it definitely has. Like sometimes I struggle when like the schedule changes or I feel like things are different, because I feel like I do really good with structure in my relationships. So sometimes when it is a little more spontaneous, I can get a little more anxious. So I was just wondering if you felt like ADHD kind of ever impacted your relationship for good or for not good, I guess. And Gigi, I don't know if you have anything to add or anything like you feel like has the same effect. But if you have anything to add, I would love to hear that too. And obviously, I know like mental health and things like that can be a harder thing to talk about. So if you don't feel comfortable discussing that, please do not feel obligated at all. But just was curious, since I myself struggle with my own ADHD. And so hearing you talk about it was kind of nice to have someone to relate to. So thank you guys. Have a good day.
My heart.
Paige, I know
Literally.
this is your baby, the poster child. Literally just talked about the fact that she has ADHD. So it's just funny that was, I hadn't listened to these, so it was just
Anyone
interesting
who
that
knows
came up.
me knows that I crave my fucking structures and I crave my patterns. And when people go off of our schedules, what is that? Oh my god.
This is your,
Yeah.
I got you a pink
Yes.
plaything
Whenever
fidget?
anything goes
Yeah.
off of my schedules or anything is not normal, y'all, my anxiety starts. It's even if I don't want it to. It's like I don't have a fucking option. So Danielle, to answer your question, I would say both. It's been negative and positive to my relationship. I mean, if I didn't have ADHD, I don't know if I would have ever even wrote to Joseph initially, because of the way that I just was on that website, just like to ease my brain during COVID. I was just interested in reading all of those. I'm kind of all over the place, but like ADHD also makes me who I am. It makes me my quirky personality. And, I don't know if Joseph would love me if I wasn't that person. And it, in a way, the things that I can't control with prison, I do hate that in that part of having ADHD and the impacts of it. But I think honestly, in the greater sense, it's been better because there is kind of a sense of structure sometimes, and like I do know when I will hear from him, and he also has ADHD too, so it's like he gets me. And having someone that gets you is half the battle, especially if they don't have ADHD or no, they're like, what, you're just lazy, or, you know.
Yeah. Well, I don't have ADHD, but my husband does. So, and obviously I deal with children. I mean, half of my school age kids that I teach, if not 75% of them, have ADHD. So I know how to navigate it. I know when to press, I know when to back off, I know when to rephrase something. So yeah. I don't really have any insight. I just think you have to have patience and you have to have understanding and empathy. And, while I don't experience ADHD every day, I do have anxiety, and I do have, obviously routines, any routine, especially you're into routines, it can mess you up. And, when things change or things don't go the way that you thought they were going to go. And I think that's just for anybody, but I know it can be exacerbated if you do have ADHD or autism. So not that they're the same, but I'm just saying, like, I find that my students that have autism, like, if there's changes in the schedule, we have to go over that very slowly and carefully. So, I think it's just about being supportive and being an understanding person. And, if your partner is that way, obviously you and Joe are supportive of each other and understand that that's just part of it. Like, that's who they are, but it's not a bad thing. It's just, I accept it, that's the way it is.
Makes us spicy.
Yeah. I love Spicy Paige, by the way. All right. Danielle sent us another one, so I'm going to pull it up.
Okay, this isn't a question. It's more of a comment or random funny story. But when I first ever started listening to the podcast, I started listening to it on Spotify. And I know in almost every episode you guys say, oh, and join the Facebook. But I would always listen on my way home from my visit, since I would have a really long drive. So by the time I got home and having ADHD, I would forget to join the Facebook. So long story short, hopefully this makes sense. Sometimes I'm not good at telling stories, but just from hearing your guys' voice and not following you on social media, when I first started listening, I had you guys switched in my mind, if this makes any sense. So like Gigi and Gigi's voice, I thought was Paige, and Paige and Paige's voice, I thought was Gigi, if this makes sense. So when I first ever saw like a video and joined the Facebook and like saw you guys on social media, I was super confused because in my mind, just only hearing, I had you guys switched. So I just thought that was funny. It's something that just popped into my head today, and thought it might make you guys laugh. Hopefully that makes sense. That. If not, just ignore me. But love you guys. Have a good day.
I love that.
Aw.
I feel like we never get insight like that. I feel like a lot of times people find us either through TikTok originally or YouTube, so they know what we look like. So I love that. That's fun.
Yeah.
If anyone else didn't know what we looked like or
my
created like faces for us, can you tell me what I look like?
Yeah, that'd be funny. Oh my God. I want what we should.
Oh my God, one of the our next, like I dress up as you.
Like not even like dress up, just the like talk and the mannerisms or things that you like.
Oh my God, that'll be so hard for me because how do you sit? You sit still. She sits here when we record and she'll just sit still the whole time. I'm like over here like.
Oh wait.
Literally, like that's me the whole time. And like Gigi, the whole time we're recording, she's
hair
right here like this, not moving. I'm like, what the fuck?
I'll be like,
yeah. I know that's right.
slay baby girl. Retweet.
Period pill.
Period. And I'm over here like period, period, like.
Oh my God.
Okay. But thank you, honeys. That gave us a nice laugh and nice reflective moment. I love that. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you everyone for all the lovely questions.
All right. Well, that's all I have, Paige. Did you have anything else?
I got, other than, wait, can I say one thing? Y'all, I did not realize when I said last week that Blueface gets out of prison soon. I did not realize it was like the day after we recorded that.
Oh, wow. So I saw he was out.
They are starting some shit. If y'all are ever bored, head on over to hit their whole circus of the Instagram, Twitter, TikTok.
I saw him in the club dancing with some influencer. Like she was like
all I know is that
all over him.
Jaden, his baby mom, is holding it down. So respect to her.
Okay.
Hell
so they're
no.
still together?
And it's so funny because she she keeps putting out songs talking about like Krishan, and she's like, take him, please. She's like, I don't want him. I love it.
Well, take a peek. Find Marcus, find Blueface, find the crazy stuff that's on the internet.
We gotta laugh at what we can, y'all. It's hard times.
Yeah.
For realsy.
Well, we will be back next week, and we will see y'all in a week. But I hope you have a great hump day, a great weekend. If you have visits, have a great visiting weekday. We love you guys. Thank you so much for taking over this freaking pod episode with all of your questions and comments.
Giving us
tell you how much
a full Q&A.
Come through. Yeah. Baby, come through. You deserve a round.
Literally.
Those are Vine days. Wow. R.I.P. Vine.
Love you, friends.
Love you guys. Besitos. Peace.
This is for the ones who love through the distance, for the ones who stay solid while time keeps ticking, for the ones who hold it down but never lose themselves. This is for the prison wife. Still don't break, love don't fold. I'm still here, I'm still gold. Through the glass, through the gates, ain't no distance make me change. Still don't break, love don't fold. I hold strong, I don't go, I don't wait, I don't beg. I hold it down and lift my head. They don't see the late nights, letters on the table, fighting through the system, just trying to stay stable. They don't see the count days, they don't feel the time crawl. They just see the sentence, but they don't see the love at all. Yeah, I made the vow and I stand 10 toes. Still got my life, still got my goals. I hold it down cause I choose to stay. This love got walls, but it don't got chains. Don't break, love don't fold. I'm still here, I'm still gold. Through the glass, through the gates, ain't no distance make me change. Still don't break, love don't fold. I hold strong, I don't go, I don't wait, I don't beg. I hold it down and lift my head. I'm a prison wife, but I'm still my own. Made my own moves, still stand on my throne. They think I'm just sitting here wasting my days. Nah, baby, I've been building while he counting the days. I ride for my love, I ride for my king, but I ain't no fool, I handle my biz. I ain't weak, I ain't lost, I ain't throwing my worth. I hold it down cause I know what it's worth. Through the letters, through the calls, through the gates, through it all. Love don't break, love don't fade. I'm still here, I'm still brave. Still don't break, love don't fold. I'm still here, I'm still gold. Through the glass, through the gates, ain't no distance make me change. Still don't break, love don't fold. I hold strong, I don't go, I don't wait, I don't beg. I hold it down and lift my head.
Don't break, love don't fold. I'm still here, I'm still gold. Through the glass, through the gates, ain't no distance make me change.
Still don't break, love don't fold. I hold strong, I don't go, I don't wait, I don't beg. I hold it down and lift my head.